Tweet, 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 tweet. It's Bird Week, the week that I read you stories about birds.
Well, I like birds. If you're small.
Well, hello, my kindergarten friends, and welcome back to Library Class at Home with Mr. S. I hope everybody had a lovely 3-day weekend. I hope you were able to rest up, and I hope everybody stayed safe. Well, this is Bird Week, the week that I'm going to read you stories about birds. That's why I've got these bird-like settings that I'm in here. And my first story was written by Cynthia Rylant, and it was illustrated by Barry Moser. This book is called The Birdhouse. So we're going to take a look at this. The Birdhouse by Cynthia Rylant. Once a bright blue house stood beside a river. And there you can see the bright blue house, and there is the river. Birds loved this house. They were always flying by. Sparrows sat on windowsills. Swallows slept in the chimney. Wrens flew in and out, and a great barred owl roosted above the front door. Wow, so already they listed all kinds of birds. We have sparrows, swallows, wrens, and a great owl. And it said the owl roosted. That means it made its nest above the door. A young girl who was walking along the river one day saw this house. She was a girl without a home or a family, and she had not been happy for a very long time. But when she saw all the birds around the bright house, her face lit up, and she stayed hidden in the trees to watch. Presently, the front door opened, and an old woman stepped outside. The birds all scattered and flew when the old woman appeared, all except the great barred owl. He never moved. But the scattering birds quickly came back. Nuthatches ran down the roof. Hummingbirds looked in through the windows, and a sweet cooing dove followed the old woman everywhere she went. The young girl hidden in the trees was amazed. And I don't know if you can see it, but there is the owl above the door. The next day, the birds were back at the bright blue house, and so was the girl. She watched as goldfinches hopped up and down the front steps. Purple martins lined up on the eaves, and a large blue heron walked among the sunflowers. Again, she watched as the old woman stepped outside and the birds scattered, all except the great barred owl. He never moved. On the third day, the girl came yet again to the house, and there were woodpeckers in the mailbox, blue jays on the shutters, and a pheasant on the welcome mat. And again, the girl watched as the old woman appeared. And there she is with the dove on her shoulder. But surprisingly, the birds did not scatter. This day, instead, they rose as one into the sky. The birds flew first east, then west, then north, and then south. They flew and formed a perfect word. Girl. The young girl saw this word in the sky, and she ran away as fast as she could. But the old woman stood still, watching the birds and trying to understand what they were telling her. What do you think they're telling her? Do you think they're telling her that a girl has been watching her birdhouse every day? For many days, the young girl was afraid to return to the bright blue house, afraid of being found out by the old woman. And there she is, very sadly, sitting down by the bridge or something. But the girl loved the birds so much that finally she could not stay away. She had to see them again. She returned and hid among the trees. She saw thrushes on the clothesline, starlings in the wheelbarrow, and cardinals all over the picket fence. But as soon as the door opened and the old woman stepped out, the girl jumped up to run away. She did not want the birds to write anything in the sky again. This time, however, the birds did not move at all when the old woman appeared. They did not scatter. They did not fly. They did not write anything in the sky. They stayed on the clothesline, in the wheelbarrow, on the picket fence, all perfectly still. Then one lone bird raised its wings to fly. Do you know which one that is? That's right, that's the great barred owl. The great barred owl, who never moved, suddenly lifted up. He lifted his enormous silent wings, and swiftly, surely, he swooped into the trees. And before she could get away, the young girl was caught in the owl's talons. He calmly held on to her shirt until the old woman, hearing the girl's cries, found them. The old woman was not really that surprised to see the girl. She took the child into the bright blue house, and she washed the dirt from the girl's face, and fed her bread and beans. And then the old woman talked with her all through the night. And since that time, the girl has always lived with the old woman. Each day they step outside to tend the flowers or the pumpkins, or perhaps just take a walk. The birds are always there. And of course, they always scatter when the door opens and the woman and the girl appear. Except for one, the great barred owl. He never moves, but he always nods his head to the girl whenever she walks past. And the girl always smiles back. Well, boys and girls, that's the end of that story. What did you guys think of it? Did you like it? Why do you suppose the birds wrote the word girl up in the sky? Do you think they wanted the girl to live there with the old woman? Tell me what you think. Leave me a comment on my Google Classroom page, and please don't forget to click the turned in button after you've watched this video. There were a lot of cool birds in this video, and you know, Mrs. S and I have a lot of birds near our house. We started building bird houses, and we have sparrows, and we have cardinals, and blue jays, and all kinds of neat birds. Maybe I'll try to take some pictures of them, and I'll post them in my morning classroom feed as soon as the weather changes. It's been kind of rainy, you know, so maybe I can get some pictures of the birds near my house. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this story. Check back tomorrow. I'll have another great story for you. Have a wonderful day, boys and girls.
Mr. S, you look really uncomfortable.
Yeah, because I just laid an egg.